Hello and good morning, third grade. Today for writing, we're going to set up our new book for our new animal. But first, I want to say congratulations! You finished your first information book about your animal. Now, today for writing, we're going to set up a new notebook or blank loose leaf pages for our new information books. So, for now, you should have been assigned or you should have chose your new animal that you will write about. Okay, and the animals that we have to choose to write about are the dolphin, monkey, frog, and penguin. Since the teachers wrote about the penguins already, I'm not going to write about the penguins this time. I'm going to write about frogs. Okay, so our setup for our notebook is going to look something like this. Okay, we're going to be writing about research again. The first page is going to be the table of contents. Second page is going to be about your animal's body. Third page is going to be about what your animal eats. Fourth page is going to be about where your animal lives. And the last page is going to be your conclusion. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages together. You can do it in your notebook or you can take separate pieces of loose leaf out and you can staple the loose leaf pages together, which is what I'm going to do because I don't have a notebook, so I'm going to use these pages. So I have, get this confetti out of the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have your 5 pages together, you can staple them together, like so. Okay, so my first page is going to be the table of contents. This table of contents is going to say what the contents of your book are going to be. So, on the top, I'm going to write with a pen or pencil, table of contents. And you're going to write that on your first page. Okay? So, like I said, after the table of contents, that's the first page, this is going to say what's going to be in your book. Okay? So, I'm going to write frog's body, because that's the first research that I'm going to do about my animal, which is a frog, and that's going to be on page 1. Okay, next is going to be what a frog eats, or their diet, and that's going to be on page 2. Then third page is going to be where a frog, because that's the new animal I chose to write about, lives. And that's going to be on page 3. And then last is going to be my conclusion, or the ending to my information book about my animal, and that's going to be on page 4. So you can set up your table of contents like this. Page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. Okay, so now I have my notebook all put together. Now I'm going to go into my notebook and designate what each page is going to be. So let's open it up. I have the table of contents. The next one's going to be the frog's body. Okay, so this is going to be my second page. We're going to use both pages. One is going to be for note taking and one is going to be for our paragraph. So on this side, you're going to write your animal's body, and this is going to be the notes where you're going to get information from your books, from the Padlet, and this is where your information is going to go. So I'm going to write frog's body. Okay, and it's going to be in a boxes and bullets format, so you could when you start finding your information, you could start putting the bullet points here, and you're going to write out your notes on this side, okay? This is where your notes are going to be. This side is where your paragraph is going to be, okay? So on the other side, you're going to write frog's body paragraph. Done. Okay? Get a little close up so you can see what first page of your book is going to look like. On this side is where your notes are going to be. And on this side is where you're going to do the writing of your paragraph about your research. Okay. Next part is going to be what your animal eats. Let's set it up. This side is going to be the same thing. Boxes and bullets. This is where your notes are going to go from your reading. So on the top, I'm going to write what a frog eats, or their diet. It's another word for what they eat. And this is the notes side, okay? So again, I could write notes underneath, and you could put a box around this, and you could start making bullets, because this is where your research information is going to go, okay? Then on this side, this is where you're going to do your writing about your notes. So it's going to be about your animal's diet. So I'm going to write what a frog eats, or their diet. This is going to be where you write your paragraph. So I'm going to write paragraph over here so I know that that's where my writing is going to go. Okay, what a frog eats, paragraph, and what a frog eats, notes. Okay, so the setup is going to be just like that. Okay, one side is notes, one side is your writing for your paragraph. Next page is going to be where your animal lives. And this is where your notes are going to go about where your animal lives. So again, I'm going to write on the top where a frog, because that's the animal that I chose, where a frog lives. Okay, or parentheses, write habitat. Okay, and these are the notes. So again, like boxes, the main idea goes on the top, and the bullets, because this is where your research information from your book is going to go. And then on this side is going to be where your paragraph goes. Paragraph is going to be all about where a frog lives. So on the top, I'm going to write where a frog lives. Habitat. Okay, you're going to write your animal here. Okay, your animal might be a frog, might be a dolphin or a monkey, or a penguin. Where a frog lives. This is going to be your paragraph. This is where you're going to write your 5-sentence paragraph. Okay, this is where your writing's going to go. So again, I'll show you up close. Where a frog lives, paragraph. Where a frog lives, notes. And then at the end, oops, more confetti. At the end, your last page is going to be your conclusion. And you could draft your conclusion over here. You could write conclusion on the top. This is your notes, of course. You could practice over here. And then this is where your finished paragraph is going to go. Conclusion. That's the end. This is your conclusion paragraph. And that's going to be 5 sentences. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to make the same setup. I want you to set up your notebook for your new animal you're going to be writing about. Okay? Once you set up your notebook like this, finding the research is going to go right onto each one of these pages. And then your writing is going to be on the other side, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to set up your notebook or your pages just like I did. And then you're going to send a video to us showing us what your book looks like, okay? Remember, there's 5 pages labeled just like this, okay? If you need to stop and pause the video while you're making and setting up your notebook, that's fine, okay? So happy learning, and I can't wait to see your new animal research set up for your notebooks, okay? Good job again in finishing your first information book about your animal. And that is the end. Great job, everybody.